What is happening, everyone? Royal Navy destroyers are slowly coming into view on the horizon, and we're now able to show them, but only in port view. I figured now is a good time to give some background on these fine ships, as they are all very much real. There are no paper ships in this line. So what I'm going to do, rather than go into depth into how I think these ships are going to play that I have never played before, I'm going to give you a little brief snippet of history on each of these destroyers instead. So without further ado, here is some brief history on each of the 9 ships. The Tier 2 Medea is one of 7 destroyers originally built for the Greek Navy, but they were completed for the Royal Navy due to the outbreak of World War I. Valkyrie at Tier 3 was an Admiralty V-class flotilla leader, which served during World War I. The Tier 4 Wakeful was a W-class destroyer which saw its career span both World Wars. She was sunk by a German U-boat during Operation Dynamo in 1940. Acasta at Tier 5 was launched in 1929 and served in World War II, where she was sunk during action against the Gneisenau and Scharnhorst. She proved to be a tough opponent though and managed to score a torpedo hit against the latter. The Tier 6 Icarus was an I-class destroyer built in the 30s. She was part of the Bismarck breakout and searched for HMS Hood survivors upon news that she was sunk. To her credit, Icarus sank 4 U-boats during World War II. The Tier 7 Jervis was a J-class destroyer which, despite receiving 13 battle honors whilst participating in numerous operations, did not lose a single sailor during World War II. This was in spite of having her bow blown off at one point. Hence, Jervis was named Lucky Jervis. At Tier 8, we have the Lightning, which was launched in 1940 and sunk 3 years later by a German motor torpedo boat. Coincidentally, she was replaced in Force Q by the ORP Błyskawica, which is the Polish word for lightning. The Tier 9 Jutland was a battle-class destroyer launched after World War II concluded. In 1961, she was placed in reserve after almost 2 decades of peacetime service. She was broken up in 1965. At Tier 10, we have the Daring, which was launched in 1949. She served off and on up until her final decommissioning in October of 1968. She was modern by most standards, but suffered from gunnery issues and remained largely untested. The British destroyers as of right now appear to be somewhat similar to German destroyers, and even share some characteristics of US Navy destroyers. If we look at the Tier 10 Daring, we see a destroyer that has excellent concealment at 5.7 kilometers, utilizing all available concealment upgrades, and it also has fast-firing guns at 2.5-second reload. The fact that the upper tier Royal Navy destroyers carry hydro means that they can be used for destroyer pursuit, similar to the German and Pan-Asian destroyers. However, while their concealment gives them a slight edge, the guns aren't quite as potent on paper as German destroyers and even perhaps the other ones. Also, with these destroyers, do not expect excessive range with the torpedoes. Most of them top out at 10 kilometers, so these are not going to be torpedo boats, so to speak. Time will tell how these destroyers operate, and I look forward to sharing with you how they feel as they become available to us to actually test them. Stay tuned for more in the future. Zoop out.